What's up, everybody? Cruise Collections back again with another video for you. Today we're going to go over some action figures. I got a lot of action figures. I got a lot of wrestling action figures, as you can see, and this is not even half of what I own. But today I just want to go over a few pieces that I have because my favorite line is definitely the Mattel Ultimate Edition. I've got about 80 to 90 Ultimate Edition figures, and I figure I'm going to just do a little video here and there, and today's going to be the first one. I'm going to show off one cubicle worth of my WWE Ultimate Edition action figures, so stay tuned. All right, so first up, we got Andre the Giant. No baby oil. This is definitely the best Andre the Giant figure, hands down. I don't care what anybody says. I've got all the elites. I've got customs that I've made. I've got the old Jakks Pacific Classic Superstars. This one beats it. That Super 7 figure, trash. Didn't even buy it. And I'm a guy that buys pretty much any Andre the Giant figure I could find. But after adding this one to my collection, I can't really say for sure that I'll need to buy any more Andre the Giants because this is, in fact, the ultimate Andre the Giant action figure. Just when you think you got all the answers, I changed the question. Oh, yes, it's Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper himself. This is from his 98, maybe 97, 96, I can't recall for sure, WCW version when he was the Icon. He came back, he challenged Hogan to take that strap from him and the NWO. I think it ended with him getting beat down in the ring. I think he was flopping around like a fish out of water holding his hip because he had just had the surgery on his hip. They really gave him a beat down NWO style. But this is a great Rowdy Roddy Piper figure. I got two of them, I'm not going to lie. I got one to display them with the jacket and the kilt on, and then I got one to just have them in the old trunks with the other t-shirt that came with them. Maybe it said Hot Rod. Don't remember. Maybe we'll get to that one later, but here you have it. Ultimate Edition, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Next up, we've got Big Van Vader, the man himself. This guy was an ultimate freak back in his day. Vader was one of those guys nobody wanted to get in the ring with him because they knew if they got in the ring with him, they were probably going to get hurt. You can ask Cactus Jack, who got his ear torn off, or you can ask anybody else who stepped in the ring with him. People feared him, except Paul Orndorff when he knocked him out in the shower. I think he's wearing his slippers or his flip-flops. Might have been barefoot, but either way, Paul Orndorff gave Vader that business. But it must have been a lucky day for him because we all know that Vader is the man, and he would have killed old Paul Orndorff if he hadn't have been trying to hide himself in the shower. There you have it. Big Van Vader, Ultimate Edition. And next up, we've got the man himself, RVD, Rob Van Dam. Awesome figure. I buy all the elites. You just can't pass up on an RVD figure. They always look good. His airbrush singlets are just sick all the time. And fun fact, a little quick story. Back when I was wrestling, I ended up going out on a date. It was a little kind of a blind date type of deal. But anyways, I ended up on a date, and the whole talk came up about me being a pro wrestler. And I come to find out I was actually on a date with the girl whose father was the guy who did all the airbrushing on RVD's singlets. So that was pretty cool. And immediately I was like, what do I got to do to get some work done? Apparently by that point, the guy was done doing it. He wasn't interested. So it was something that never really happened, just like another date. So she should have talked to her dad and convinced him. RVD, Ultimate Edition. And next up, we've got the immortal one, Hulk Hogan. This is probably that late 80s era, maybe 87-ish. I got a couple versions of these just because I liked it. I like all Hulk Hogan figures, and it comes with multiple heads, so I wanted to have a different head for each body. And I wanted to have an Ultimate Edition figure of Hogan just in his ring gear. You can see him there hitting that signature pose, making sure that everybody's listening, and he's doing all of his hot dogging, and just like Hulk Hogan could do, nobody else could beat it. There you have it, Hulk Hogan. And next up, we've got one half of the Rock and Sock connection. That's right, it's Mankind, Mick Foley. Have a nice day. This is an awesome figure. Definitely the best version of Mankind in this attire. I'm not a huge fan of the sock that they gave him. I like the original sock that came with the first Elite version. I think it was like Elite 16. I could be wrong. Somebody can correct me on that. Either way, I thought the cloth shirt was a nice touch, and the multiple heads are awesome. I think at this point, I've got enough Mankind's. After adding this one to the collection, I won't need any more because this one's about as perfect as it gets. Maybe I'll swap the sock out, Socko, at some point, but for now, he'll do the job. And next up, we've got Jake the Snake Roberts. I don't care what anybody says. You can disagree if you want. We all know you're wrong. This is, in fact, the greatest Jake the Snake Roberts figure ever made. It's from the Mattel Creations. I think they were recreating the old LJN figure, and they did one hell of a job. I'd say they knocked this one out of the park. I love the way they made the snake so posable where I could wrap it around him like this. He'll probably stay in this pose forever. The only thing that may change is I might swap his head from time to time. But yes, there you have it. Best Jake the Snake figure that there will ever be. And we've got Big Daddy Cool. This is from the GoFundMe Mattel Creations when they made the whole WWF New Generation package deal. I definitely jumped on that. I didn't have a ring at the time, and that was finally the first ring that I knew that I had to have. This time, this time period in wrestling, a lot of people like to hate on it. Me personally, it's my childhood. It's when I really became addicted to wrestling. I love all these characters from this era. It's one of my favorite times in wrestling. This figure, not too much different from all of the elites, but how much can you do with a Diesel figure? Really, he wore the same thing all the time, other than maybe changing up his top from time to time. The vest was always there. Either way, this is definitely the best Diesel figure that Mattel has ever put out, that anyone's ever put out for that matter. And I'm very happy with it. Quite a rare figure as well, I might add. So I know not too many people have this one unless you paid those aftermarket prices or you were one of the thousands of us that chipped in on that GoFundMe. So there you have it, Diesel Ultimate Edition. And next up, we've got the ravishing one himself, Rick Rude. You know, before Shawn Michaels was coming out as the boy toy, we had the walking, living, wrestling porn star combination himself, Rick Rude. And nobody could cut a promo like Rick Rude on a crowd. You know, he'd come out and he'd do his whole little, for all you Houston sweat hogs and blah, 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 blah. Dude was a beast. Insane physique, forearms were crazy. He was actually, I believe he was a professional arm wrestler before he got into wrestling, but the guy was known to be a legit badass. There's also rumors and speculation about his death, about it may not have been exactly what people say. I'm not going to get into all that, but if people want to do their own research, you can. It's quite interesting, I can tell you that much. But back on point, this is an awesome Rick Rude figure. Not my favorite attire, but with all the articulation that it has, and just everything about it, I do think these were the best head scans they did for Rick Rude, and I like that it came with multiple heads. Again, not my favorite attire, but I understand what they were doing. They were sticking with the LJN line to make them look as close to that as possible. And either way, I'm very happy with it, and I would say this is probably the best Rick Rude figure that's been released. Maybe we'll get another Ultimate Edition in a better attire at some point. And we've got the man that's always oozing machismo. One of my personal favorites, got to be in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. Something about Razor Ramon just really got me when I was a kid. The guy was just too cool. He had the 5 o'clock shadow all the time, the toothpick in his mouth. I mean, who made a toothpick seem so cool? Who would have ever thought I'm going to just have a toothpick in my mouth and I'm going to make that shit get over so well? Well, Razor Ramon did, and I'd throw it right in the camera, right in your face. Ultimate insult. The bad guy, Razor Ramon, definitely my favorite Razor Ramon that I own. I do have another version, but I think the purple attire is probably my favorite. And we've got the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. That's right. This, I don't think there's any question about it. Definitely the best Ric Flair figure that's ever been released. I do love the head scans. I love the way they look. I feel like they're a little cartoony looking, but the accuracy on the face is really good. I love the expression. They got the hair down pat. More than anything, that robe is phenomenal. I mean, it really looks like you took Ric Flair's robe and just shrunk it down and threw it over an action figure. Another one of the all time greats, probably in my top 10, simply just because he could talk really well. Never had the greatest matches, but you could never get enough of that Ric Flair flop. You know, Ric Flair's getting his ass kicked, stumbles around the ring, flop. That was over when I was a kid, and we popped for that every time. Why doesn't somebody bring that back? Yeah, they need to. Next up, we've got the immortal Hulk Hogan. I believe this is probably from the 2002 era when he returned back to WWE, came back for a short moment under the NWO gimmick, fought The Rock, then him and The Rock became buddies, and the red and yellow was back for a return. And I gotta say, Hogan was the most jacked he's ever been at this point in his career, which is crazy because he was pretty old at this point, but you know he was taking a lot of vitamins, doing a lot of training, and saying a lot of prayers to get as yoked as he was at this point. This is probably my favorite Hulk Hogan action figure from this era. I have a custom that I made. I have the elites, but this one definitely takes the cake in all of them. So there you have Hollywood Hulk Hogan, red and yellow. All right, and that wraps it up for today. Be sure to go ahead and like this video just like you did. Go ahead and, push that button just to let me know that you liked it. Confirm it for me. And if you haven't subscribed already, you need to do that right now. I don't know what you've been waiting for. The only excuse really is that you're just a new viewer. You just stumbled across this channel. Well, this channel is going to be great to you. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next video, because I got about 70 or 80 more of these Ultimate Edition figures, plus more. I got action figures all over the place. And if you like comics, stick around too, because I'll be showing off some of those. You never know what you're going to get on this channel, but it's always going to be fun. It's always going to be nostalgia. It's always going to be good. So go ahead, give me a like, drop a comment. Which of these figures did you like the most out of all of them? Tell me, what's your favorite Ultimate Edition figure? And stay tuned, because we're going to do another one of these videos where I'll be showing off one more cubicle of the figures that I have in my Ultimate Edition collection. But until then, this is Cruise Collections, cruising out.